Artificial intelligence dazzles with its potential, revolutionizing healthcare, powering financial systems, and transforming how we learn, communicate, and create. But behind its sleek algorithms and digital promises lies a material reality rarely discussed. AI runs on water, massive volumes of it. From training large language models to maintaining cloud infrastructure, the demand for water is surging, driven by a silent race for technological supremacy and convenience. This article unearths the hidden water costs of AI, follows what happens to that water, examines the ethical and environmental consequences, and evaluates the solutions being pursued or neglected. AI's physical presence lies in sprawling data centers, massive warehouses packed with servers that generate tremendous heat. To prevent overheating, these facilities must be cooled constantly. Water plays a central role in this process, cooling and consumption. Water-cooled systems are often preferred over air-based alternatives due to their energy efficiency and ability to manage heat loads at scale. However, they consume immense amounts of water. A single hyperscale data center can use between 1 to 5 million gallons of water per day, depending on climate, design, and workload. Some estimates suggest that training a large model like GPT-3 can indirectly consume over 700,000 liters of fresh water, primarily through evaporative cooling and power generation. In 2022, Google reported using 5.6 billion gallons of water, while Microsoft reported a 34% increase in water usage, reaching over 1.7 billion gallons. Much of this increase has been attributed to the rise in AI model training and deployment across cloud platforms, indirect water use, energy production. Beyond direct cooling, AI's energy demands contribute to water use. Thermoelectric power plants, especially those using coal or nuclear fuel, rely on water for steam production and cooling. For every kilowatt hour of energy consumed by a data center, several gallons of water may be withdrawn or evaporated upstream at power facilities. AI's hunger for electricity amplifies its water footprint, extending environmental impact far beyond the data center walls. Semiconductor and chip manufacturing. AI's hardware, GPUs, TPUs, and specialized AI chips requires ultra-pure water during fabrication. The production of a single semiconductor wafer can require up to 1,500 gallons of water. As AI scales, so does chip production, especially in hubs like Taiwan and South Korea, where water shortages are already a recurring issue. Evaporation, discharge, and loss. In most cooling systems, the majority of water is lost through evaporation. In evaporative cooling towers, water absorbs heat from the servers and is then released as vapor. This water is not returned to the source, effectively removing it from the local ecosystem. Other systems discharge heated water into nearby rivers or reservoirs. While this water is technically returned, it often poses risks due to elevated temperatures or chemical contamination. This process can alter aquatic ecosystems, reduce biodiversity, and contribute to harmful algal blooms. Closed-loop systems and reuse. Some data centers employ closed-loop or hybrid cooling systems, which recirculate water multiple times before discharge. Others use gray water, recycled wastewater from municipal sources, to reduce the impact on potable supplies. While these solutions offer improvements, they require advanced filtration and maintenance and may not be feasible in all environments. Site selection and local resources. Companies often cite data centers based on access to cheap land and energy, not necessarily water availability. In areas like Arizona, Utah, and Chile, this creates tension between corporate demands and local water security. The lack of transparency around data center water use exacerbates this conflict, leaving communities in the dark about how much is being taken and where it's going. Strain on ecosystems. AI-driven water consumption affects delicate ecosystems, especially in arid regions. Lowered water tables dry up wetlands and springs. Rivers receiving warm discharge suffer from oxygen depletion and altered species composition. When water is redirected or depleted for industrial purposes, fish, amphibians, birds, and plant life pay the price. In the Netherlands, heated discharges into rivers prompted government interventions and technological redesigns. In Chile, activists fought back against Google's use of local aquifers, citing long-term damage to mountain-fed water supplies. Impact on communities. The human toll is equally pressing. In regions facing drought or scarcity, data centers compete directly with farmers, residents, and municipalities. In New Mexico, residents protested Meta's data center expansion, fearing depletion of their already fragile water reserves. In Phoenix, dozens of data centers draw from aquifers that supply drinking water to over 1 million people. These centers often offer minimal economic benefits to locals. Few jobs, low taxes, and high resource extraction create a model of extractive digital colonialism, where technological gains are centralized but environmental burdens are distributed. Environmental justice and equity. Communities with the least power often bear the brunt of water extraction. Indigenous groups, rural towns, and economically disadvantaged neighborhoods are frequently overlooked in corporate planning. The ethical imbalance is stark. AI offers convenience, personalization, and profit to millions, at the expense of a few whose land, water, and ecosystems are sacrificed. Corporate sustainability promises. Tech giants are increasingly aware of public scrutiny and are beginning to disclose their water use. Microsoft has pledged to be water positive by 2030, meaning it will replenish more water than it consumes. Google has committed to replenishing 120% of its water usage in high-stress regions. These commitments involve investing in wetland restoration, local conservation projects, and better metering technologies. However, critics argue that these offsets are often symbolic, geographically disconnected from the original damage, and difficult to verify. Technological innovations. To reduce dependency on fresh water, companies are exploring liquid immersion cooling. Hardware submerged in non-conductive liquids reduces water demand. Airside economization, using cool external air rather than chilled water when climate permits. AI-powered cooling optimization, using machine learning to reduce overcooling and improve efficiency. Smaller firms are experimenting with geothermal cooling and seawater-cooled systems in Nordic countries. These alternatives offer promising paths forward, but remain relatively niche. Regulations and reporting. Few governments mandate detailed water reporting for data centers. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, offers guidelines, but no binding standards. The Water Usage Effectiveness, WE metric, developed by the Green Grid, is gaining traction, but adoption remains voluntary. Some municipalities now require water use permits or community engagement for large-scale tech projects. However, the regulatory landscape is patchy and reactive, often playing catch-up with the pace of AI expansion. Case studies. Microsoft, Quincy, Washington. Microsoft's data center in Quincy employs closed-loop cooling and uses gray water from a local treatment plant. The company reports water savings of over 50% compared to conventional systems. However, local watchdogs remain concerned about transparency and the facility's long-term ecological footprint. Google, the Dalles, Oregon. Google faced community backlash over its water use in the Dalles, leading to public protests and city council scrutiny. Eventually, Google agreed to infrastructure improvements and partial disclosure of its water consumption. This case highlights the tension between corporate growth and local trust. Finland, seawater cooling. In Finland, some data centers use seawater for cooling, discharging warmed water back into the ocean. This approach avoids freshwater depletion but raises concerns about marine ecosystems and temperature regulation. Chile, mountain aquifer protests. Google's expansion in Chile was met with significant resistance from environmental groups and indigenous communities. The company ultimately revised its cooling system plans after public outcry, switching to air cooling to protect fragile mountain aquifers. The future, water-conscious AI, responsible site selection. Future data centers must prioritize locations with abundant renewable energy and non-potable water access. Northern climates, coastal regions, or zones with advanced infrastructure offer a better fit than arid, overdrawn basins. Public disclosure and metrics. Mandatory reporting of water usage, like carbon emissions, is essential for transparency and accountability. Governments and international bodies could enforce WE benchmarks and water impact assessments. AI for water. Ironically, AI could help solve its own water problem. Algorithms can monitor, predict, and optimize water flows, detect leaks, and design efficient cooling cycles. Smart grid integration may reduce indirect water use at energy plants. If turned inward, AI could become a steward rather than a consumer of environmental resources. Ethics and values. Ultimately, water ethics is not just about consumption, it's about values. Who benefits from AI? Who pays the cost? Do convenience and automation justify ecological disruption and community displacement? These are questions that engineers, ethicists, regulators, and citizens must confront together. Conclusion: artificial intelligence is not abstract. It's embodied, resource intensive, and deeply entangled with the natural world. Its power comes at a price, one often paid in silent evaporation, heated rivers, and thirsty towns. If AI is to be truly ethical, we must acknowledge its material costs, demand accountability, and design a future where intelligence does not come at the expense of sustainability. Water is not infinite, neither is the public's trust.